gosh, I must say, welcome back to Nappy Cat. We're so glad that you can join us today. In today's video, we're going to talk about a kitty who was known as Mrs. Chippy, even though in real life she was a he. So, Mrs. Chippy was a beautiful male tabby tiger striped who was on the ship Endurance during Ernest Shackleton's expedition to the Antarctic, all the way back between 1914 and 1917. Wow! Those ship's kitties really got around, didn't they? Yes, exploring the Antarctic and all of the cold. Wow! They said about Mrs. Chippy that he was full of character and impressed expedition members because he could walk along the ship's inch-wide rails, even in rough seas. Yes, that's pretty amazing. And then there was an incident on September the 13th of 1914 when one of the portholes was open and the kitty jumped outie and into the water. Yes, the ship's biologist had a net and they actually pulled the ship around. Lieutenant Hudson was in charge at that point and had heard her screams and turned the ship around to make sure to pick up the kitty. That's one time where being a little explorer got carried overboard. Literally. Now we know where that saying comes from. Yes. So she originally belonged to the ship's carpenter, who is named Harry Chippy McNish, and she had gotten the title of Mrs. Chippy because they said that he followed him around like a wife. And so everybody had started calling the kitty Mrs. Chippy before they realized that she was a he. And as you can hear from my prior example, I'm pretty sure I got that mixed up there for a moment too. Yes, he became very well loved on that ship. Yes, very unfortunately, the Endurance became trapped in pack ice, and the ship didn't survive, and very unfortunately, the kitty did not either. Everybody really was sad about that. McNish actually resented Shackleton over that. And it's sad, too, in a way here, because McNish himself passed away by, like, 1930, so that's a few years after that, but he passed away broke in New Zealand. He was absolutely destitute. But when he did pass away, he was buried with full naval honors. And they gave him, he originally had an unmarked grave. They gave him a headstone in 1959. And then in 2004, a statue of Mrs. Chippy was placed on his grave. I find that so appropriate. Yes, they were both featured on a stamp as well in South Georgia and on the South Sandwich Islands. And there's a novel that's been written about Mrs. Chippy called Mrs. Chippy's Last Expedition, The Remarkable Journey of Shackleton's Polar-Bound Cat. Yes, that sounds like an interesting novel. Although it is a novel, it's based from the real events. There was a series called Shakleton in 2002 that the kitty was presented in, played by an actor named Mac. As a person who likes learning about animal actors, kitty actors, I find that very fascinating, and I like to know more about Mac too. Yes. I find it amazing that the ships had their kitties, and that in many cases those kitties were mousers, and I'm pretty sure here with Mrs. Chippy that he was no exception to that. Yes, I for one am glad that you are here right on land. Yes, I am, Nefertum. You belong with your mommy. Well, thank you all so very much for watching this video today on this very cool subject. Thank you. If you like the content of our videos, don't forget to take those paws and paw that like button. You can paw the subscription button, and you can paw the notification bell so that you can see all of Neffy Cat's videos. Well, thank you all so very much, and we look forward to seeing you in the